All right, hold up. Isn't selecting orders as an Uber Eats driver basically the same thing as if you're driving for DoorDash or Grubhub? Yes, but let me explain. There's more. So yes, a lot of this is similar if you're doing DoorDash or Grubhub, only insofar as the basics, which you should know, right? If you're a subscriber, if not, consider subscribing. And you know that the basics are what? It is earning $1.75 paid out per mile and aiming for, on any side hustle app, $25 an hour. But it's really not that simple, because you're going to miss out on probably 25% of opportunities and maximizing your pay if you don't know these Uber Eats specifics. Let's get into it. So as we've reviewed before, you need to understand how you're actually paid as a driver. This is Uber Eats' most up-to-date pay structure. It encompasses base fare, trip supplements, promotions, and tips. So looking at this specifically for Uber Eats and just comparing this to DoorDash and Grubhub, I mean, one commonality that they all have is the promotional pay. In this case, look here for Uber Eats. It's the boost or surge pay, because I feel like that's really one of the most influential things when it comes to your pay, because frankly, nothing else really changes like the bonus pay. So let me give you some Uber Eats specific examples when it comes to bonus pay, because yeah, this is different than DoorDash. This is different than Grubhub. And I just noticed a few of these things, so pay attention. So good to know before I get to these examples here that there's really two main types of bonus pay as an Uber Eats driver. There's Quest pay and there's surge pay. So for instance, look at these three examples of Quest bonus pay, because they are all different. For instance, let's look at this Quest bonus pay. And by the way, if you didn't know, a Quest bonus pay is just a batched group of orders that you have to do first. So surge pay is just a per delivery bonus. A Quest, you have to do a batch of deliveries first. So for instance, this one, it says your Quest progress, and if I complete 3 trips, I get an extra $6. Not bad, $2 extra per trip here. But look at the fine print at the bottom. This is what I want you to focus on. It says Uber Eats deliveries only. Perfect, because remember, it's kind of easy to forget, I guess, especially if you don't drive on it. But there's the ride share and then there's food delivery. Okay, great. This one pertains to deliveries. But this Quest is what? 10 trips for $5, and there's an additional incentive there. But this one just says trips must begin in my marketplace. And again, it says only applies to completed trips. What kind of trips? Uber. It needs to convey, is it rideshare trips? Is it food delivery trips? I'm going to assume it's food delivery, especially because I'm not opted in a rideshare right now, but let's look at the next one. Now here we have 3 separate Quests, and look at the fine print on this one. It is quite different. It says every Uber pool leg, which is a rideshare feature, ride type, and delivery is eligible. So you're going to see this in your Uber driver app. So I just want to make sure you're not counting on a certain bonus. Read the fine print. It's kind of tricky and again, unique on Uber Eats. Okay, so now let's turn our attention to the surge pay, that per trip bonus on Uber. Okay, so a per trip bonus, how is surge even calculated? Well, let's see what Uber says. Okay, well, this directly from Uber, it says algorithm controlled surge pricing is automatically activated by algorithms that detect shifts in rider demand and driver supply, obviously this time pertaining to rideshare, in real time. Keyword. Again, we're trying to figure out how often does this update all over a city. While continuing, it says real-time updates because rider demand and driver supply availability change constantly. Prices update frequently. Real-time updates help rider prices reflect supply and demand, and riders and drivers know what to expect. Now, again, translating this to Uber Eats and restaurants, it's kind of the same thing. It's that imbalance, supply and demand, and if a certain area is getting really busy, they may offer that surge pay. Well, this also from Uber's website says it also calculates additional factors. So current driver availability and rider demand are the primary inputs to surge pricing, but we also factor in forecasts about market conditions. So it's an umbrella part of Uber, Uber Eats, Uber Rideshare, same company, don't worry. But algorithmically, if Uber is not only considering imbalance here of supply and demand, but forecasts, so what does that mean? So in your driver app, they'll say like, hey, these days and times are busy in your marketplace. I'm betting that that is actually preemptively causing surge based on Uber's data as well. So basically what that means is if I'm driving Thursday at, let's say 6 p.m. right in the middle of the dinner rush, and if my actual market doesn't have a restaurant supply and demand with a lot of customer orders, not a lot of Uber Eats drivers, there still might be surge pay based on the predicted forecasting from Uber's data. But remember, we've seen multiple places now, Uber mentioning this surge pricing changes in real time. Now, as someone who's driven on Uber Eats for years, in different marketplaces, you're going to know that this does not actually change in real time. So take a look here. Here's a recording of here in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, that changing surge pay. And this is sped up like 10 times. This is really fast. You can see the time changing on the top left. So it is not actually changing in real time per se. If that was the case, this would basically be fading in and out of surge pay, like $1, $1.25 up to $1.50, and then slowly tapering down. It's more so updating every few minutes, and it's kind of going to be intervals. Like it jumps from $1.50 to $2.50, $3.50, then it cools back down to $1.50. It's not really a completely linear, smooth, real-time changing surge. Okay, so real world, if you're a driver, it doesn't change like literally in real time. It updates after a couple of minutes. But then how long does it last? And I've combed through Uber's support pages. Drop a like on this video if you appreciate the research that I do in these videos. Again, consider subscribing. But how long does the surge pay actually last? In my opinion, this is where your market expertise is going to come into play, because I know plenty of shifts where it gets super hot, like $3 surge, $3.50, and then it cools down to next to nothing, versus other times it stays hot. It is hot for hours, $2, $3, $4 surge pay, and it just stays hot in those market segments. So what would merit the surge not only showing up, but sticking around for a while? So think about what's going on in your marketplace that would create imbalance of customers ordering food delivery. So maybe concerts, but more so maybe for the rideshare space for that, right? But sporting events or any, related events in your marketplace. Honorable mention, because I don't really see it a lot here in Pittsburgh. Comment down below if you've seen this a lot, but scheduled bonus pay as well with Boost Plus pay. So it says here, you can partake in Boost Plus promotional pay up to an hour before the session starts. Now, I've seen Boost Plus pay on rideshare mainly, not so much here in food delivery. And in fact, I used to see it a lot more in food delivery. Maybe 2 years ago or so, a lot more here in Pittsburgh. Again, comment down below if you see Boost Plus. Okay, so now actually choosing orders, what better way to show you than showing actual examples of orders and what I would look for. So look at this order request, $10.34. Now here's where it's going to be similar to other food apps. Best practices, what is the dollars to mile ratio? How much am I getting paid for the miles driven? Also the dollars to time ratio, how much am I getting paid? And how much time is it really going to take? Because you see here, it's quoted for 22 minutes. To get there, pick up, drop off to the customer. Just use your real world knowledge here as well. Like how busy is that restaurant? Parking? Are they usually on the ball? Is there usually kind of a longer wait than normal? But also keep in mind, you might have less time than, let's say, DoorDash, 15 to 30 seconds with an Uber Eats order versus 45 seconds. Because I'll tell you, on recent shifts with Uber Eats, I felt like those orders flew by. And think about it, the difference between 15 seconds to make a decision on a single order request versus 45 on DoorDash. So that's more of a reason you really have to know what to look for, because you don't get a lot of time, apparently, on Uber Eats. So here's another single order request, and I wanted to show you this one. It's just $6. I haven't really seen this a lot, just $6. No decimal, just $6. So I don't know. Comment down below if you've seen that. Not really a big deal. Just want to mention that. But it includes expected tip. Now, I've mentioned this before in our best practices, tips and tricks for Uber Eats. You can check out that video. But it is including the expected customer tip versus DoorDash, which now doesn't show you that. Okay, so now let's look at a batch delivery. It's just 2 or more assignments for one driver. Now, it can be what? If it's 2 or more assignments, customers for you, here's the ideal in my opinion. So $19.25. Look at the dollars to mile. Look at the dollars to time expected here. But what is also, well, that's really attractive. But what is also attractive is there's just 3 stops. So 3 stops for 2 customers obviously just one pickup. And that is ideal. It is less things to find for parking. It has less potential errors with 2 stops, obviously, than 1. So that's an ideal pickup for a stacked order. The 2 restaurants and 2 customers are fine, but you might also get this. You might get orders like this, $6.19, 10 stops. 10, can you imagine? 10 stops for $6.19 for 4.6 miles. Here's another example. 11 stops as a food delivery driver. Now, here's the thing. Here's where I need your help. This is why we're a team. I'm just one person. I have heard that this is a glitch, so I don't want you to get too worried unless you actually accept one and it's actually 10 stops. So comment down below. I'm going to take a shift trying to specifically accept like 8, 9, 12 random stops on Uber Eats because I'm thinking it is a glitch. That's important to know because, again, especially if you're new, and I didn't even know this until talking to you, our team members, that it is a glitch because when I saw it, I just automatically ignored it. I declined it. You would probably too for that stop count. So to review, how do you select orders specifically as an Uber Eats driver? I think probably 80% is a standard best practice, right? Dollars to mile ratio, dollars to time ratio, knowing the restaurants, which ones are better than others, causing you a long wait, and positioning so the ending destination is it keeping me in another power strip ideally so we can ping pong orders. So when I'm finishing in that zone, other restaurants are nearby. And then the 20% Uber Eats specifics really comes down to their bonus pay. And those bonuses are stackable if you didn't know. So you can get the Boost Plus if you do have it, and the Surge and Active Quests as well. But we talked about, right, looking at the fine print on Quests so you're not relying on one and realize it doesn't actually qualify. The surge pay that Uber says it's real time, it kind of is real time, kind of isn't. It is changing every couple of minutes. And then on your actual order requests, possible glitches, and actually I just remember this is a good time to tell you this, is I've seen surge glitches as well. Look at this. This is like unattainable surge if you didn't know here. So you'll get to know what's like the highest surge in your marketplace, 2, 3, 4, maybe $4.50, maybe $5, but certainly not something as crazy as this. But what else, if anything, do you look at when you select orders as an Uber Eats driver? Comment down below. And if you did get value in this video, can you drop a like? You can also click or tap the screen here for my newest video, as well as video recommended for you. And I'll see you in the next one.